All right, problem number 7 has multiple parts to it. So the first thing you really need to do is you need to read through the entire problem. Okay, that includes reading A, B, and C to make sure you have an understanding of what's going to be asked of you in this problem. Okay, then go back and let's start our annotating. Okay, so Jenny is trying to decide who to take her daughter to for voice lessons. Pitch Perfect School. Okay, Pitch Perfect School charges $20 per lesson and a membership fee of $104. Okay, so those are the parts of that one. Indiana Idol Voice School just charges $24 per lesson. Okay, now it's important to know what our variables mean. So even though it does not require or have a location for us to do this, it's important that we go ahead and we decide what our variables are. I'm going to go ahead and use X and Y here for this particular problem. X is going to be my number of lessons. And then Y is going to be the cost, that total cost that I end up paying. And I have two different parts. Okay, so first I need to deal with Pitch Perfect. Now, when the problems are set up like this, a lot of times we can use slope-intercept form to help us. So for Pitch Perfect, the $20 per lesson, that's going to be our slope. Our membership fee, that's the starting cost, that's our y-intercept. So for Pitch Perfect, I should have y equals 20x plus 104. Okay. Now for Indiana Idol, there's only one value there. So I have to figure out whether that's going to be my rate of change, my slope, or my starting cost, my y-intercept. And since it's per lesson, this is a rate of change. That is my slope. So for Indiana Idol, I would have y equals 24x. Okay, so I'm done with that first part. Now it says determine the number of voice lessons it will take for both plans to cost the same amount. So what I'm going to do is actually solve that particular system. Okay, so I'm going to quickly rewrite it here. And I should notice I have a system where they're both solved. Okay. So I'm going to take this one. It's a solved equation. It says y equals, I'm going to find my y. So my starting equation is going to look like this. 24x equals 20x plus 104. And I just simply need to solve that equation. Minus 20x on both sides. That's going to leave me 4x equals 104. Go ahead and divide both sides by 4, otherwise known as 4, and I get 26. So when are they going to cost the same? At 26 voice lessons. Okay, and then I have this last part. Okay, this last part says if Jenny plans to have her daughter take 40 lessons, which voice school should she choose? It says be specific and show all applicable work to show for full credit. So I can't just name one and say, well, that's the one because I think that's the one that's cheaper. Okay, I actually have to show some math work to back that up. So one of the first things that I would do is, since we're checking on 40 lessons, I would substitute 40 into its appropriate spot in slope-intercept form. And what I have to remember is that the x is our number of lessons. So I'm going to take both of these equations and I'm going to substitute 40 in for the x. So first, y equals 20 times 40 plus 104. And that's going to give me the cost of, and this is Pitch Perfect. It's important that I know which one is which, and I don't lose sight of that. So 20 times 40 is 800, and then plus the membership fee of 104, and that one's going to cost $904. The other one is Indiana Idol. Okay, so I use that equation. Y equals 24x, so it's 24 times 40. Okay, I'm just going to substitute that in. So 24 times 40, and that's going to be $960. Well, by doing that, okay, I have plenty of mathematical evidence to make my decision. Okay, if I'm going to be doing these voice lessons, okay, I'm going to choose Pitch Perfect. Okay, so in my explanation, these are some of the things that you should hit on. Number one, make sure that you choose Pitch Perfect. Okay. Number two, make sure you explain what you did, okay, in this part. Okay, and make sure you explain it thoroughly. So you want to make sure that you talk about how you substituted 40 in for X in both of your equations so that you could compare their costs. Okay, that is a key part. You're explaining exactly what you're doing with that value, and then make sure you actually show this work. Okay, and it's okay to have it off to the side, but you want to make sure you show that you actually did the work. Okay, the stuff you might have just punched into the calculator, you have to show that information, okay, in order to get full credit. All right, that is the last problem for the review.